America great again. Thank you, Arizona. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
In the far distant land of common sense, a place where we all once lived, you'll find the Conservative College with Professor Toto. It is here where the foundational principles of our great republic are still taught and true patriots are still educated in the hallowed halls of this school of hope. Just like the iconic puppy from The Wizard of Oz, who found great joy in pulling back the curtain on the lies of the wizard, so does Professor Toto. Grab your seats and welcome to the Conservative College. Class begins now.
By saying that this has been an incredible experience. The people have been, this is the third time we've won, but this is the biggest one. They said, well, if you win by 12%, that's a big win. That's going to be very hard to do. Well, I think we more than doubled that, I guess, tripled it maybe. They said, you'll never get over 50, and I just left and we were at 54. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with it, but they said, you can't do that, sir. I said, what's about the highest? Well, you could get into the 40s, maybe 40, 41. And then I look up, and, you know, it's very interesting. I didn't know they called it earlier.
This is the people's victory. Despite every media, despite every lawsuit, despite every effort to destroy Trump, the people of Iowa have stood up and said, no, he is our candidate. Number two, he's the nominee. Get over it. He is the nominee. He's going to win the nomination. The news media doesn't want to say that because they need to somehow hype. Please watch us while we go through this charade. There is no candidacy for number two. Trump is not a candidate. Trump is the leader of a nationwide movement to take power back from the establishment. And that's why every time he's attacked by the judiciary, every time he's attacked by the news media, he gets stronger. Finally, Iowa has turned red. When I first got involved in politics, Iowa was a very competitive state and sometimes was a sort of Democrat state. But over the years, Iowa has moved away, and Trump is a big part of this. If you look at who's winning elections in Iowa today, they're Republicans. If you look at which party is collapsing in Iowa today, It's the Democrats.
We were a great nation 3 years ago, and now we're a nation in decline. We are going to turn it around so fast. It's going to happen so fast. We're going to drill. We're going to make great. We have great wealth. So it's now off to New Hampshire, a great place. We won it last time, and we won it both times. And we love it. The people are great. But you know, the truth is the people in our country are great. They're all great. We love Iowa, but they're all great. They only want to see one thing. They want our country to come back. They're embarrassed by what's going on. Our country is laughed at. All over the world, they're laughing at us. And they want our country to come back. They want America, you know, they want us to be great again. It's a very simple. MAGA, make America great again.
The very first step on the long road home began on January the 15th, 2024. Our president is now smelling the sweet savor of victory. So overdue, so past due for all of the suffering, the agony, the humiliation that he has endured. I've come tonight to tell every single one of you that the long road home, the first step was taken up that yellow brick road into the land of Oz. And when he gets there, November the 20th, a few days from now, I've got a feeling that all the monkeys, all the flying monkeys are going to begin running for their lives because there will be a new wizard in the land of Oz. Congratulations, President Trump, on a well-deserved victory. Good evening, my fellow patriots, my God-fearing American friends. I greet you all tonight. This is your humble, neighborhood, friendly, fluffy professor, Professor Toto, and the doors of the Conservative College are now open, and class is now in session. Grab a beanbag and let's get this party started tonight. Everyone, it is 8 o'clock on the beautiful Gulf Coast of Mississippi, where we have our official only night of winter. We get about 2 nights of winter every year, and tonight is one of those nights we actually have a freeze in Mississippi. I pray that you're all staying warm and that all of you are safe and huddled up inside your homes. Well, now you're huddled up in the secret conclaves of the Conservative College. It's a hidden place. No one knows how to find it. You are safe here tonight. Safe to be who you truly are, a MAGA patriot. On the menu tonight, Donald Trump wins big. Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley limp along. Vivek Ramaswamy has called it quits. And Asa Hutchinson is taking a long ride back to Arkansas in the victory dust of Donald Trump. Well, I have figured out why Vivek ran. I really have. I think I've got it figured out. You know, there was great fear on my part that he would take some of the Trump vote because the man is a beast when it comes to the microphone. And I figured that in Iowa, if he would not have been running, Donald Trump would have gotten 60% of the vote. But no, I figured out why Vivek ran. Of course, many of you may have thought it was a Soros plant and what have you and whatnot, but I believe that Vivek Ramaswamy wanted to be part of greatness. He supported Donald Trump from the beginning. I believe the only reason the man ran was to stand where he stood tonight in New Hampshire, right next to Donald Trump. I believe this man wanted to be part of the Trump cabinet so bad that he put up millions of dollars to run for president. Otherwise, Donald Trump would never have known the name Vivek Ramaswamy. So that boy bought him a position, and I pray it's the press secretary. He looked wonderful tonight in New Hampshire with our president. Last night, our president looked so wonderful. The look of winning looked so good on him again. Well, they're both fighting now. Nikki Haley and Ron Disloyal, they're both running for second place. So much for a unity candidate that was supposed to run against Trump. So all of you need to be grateful that neither one of them have dropped out of the race. I think it's stupid that they haven't, but now they're competing against one another, and the drama continues. After all the indictments, after every indictment, after lawfare, media propaganda, refusing to cover his speeches, opposition from even the internal organs of conservatism, have all lined up against Donald Trump. And they've done so now for 3 years. 4 years before that, everything in the world lined up against Donald Trump. From Russiagate to the Ukraine, everything they could try. Now you add all that together, it is 7 years of one attack after the other. And Donald Trump swamped the Buckeye State. 98 counties out of 99 are all Trump country. This comes despite the fact that Ron Disloyal spent twice as much as Donald Trump in the state of Iowa. And the media, they reacted exactly how you would expect them to. MSNBC refused to air Donald Trump's victory speech. Cowards. CNN cut away from the victory speech. Cowards. But mark this down, there will be a speech, oh hallelujah, that they will not be able to cut away from. And it's when that hand goes on that Holy Bible, January the 20th, 2025, they will not be able to cut away from that when he gives that acceptance speech on that grand and glorious day that will soon become a reality for us all. Good old-fashioned censorship is what we have seen. But the truth is, the Iowa caucus was over before it even started, 30 minutes, and they called it for Donald Trump. The question is, what are we all doing? What are we doing? Have you ever been to a movie and you've already seen the movie? You've seen it twice, 3 times. You've already seen the movie. You know how it ends. But a best friend asks you to go see it with them again. And so you go and you endure, already knowing what's happening. And you're almost sitting there thinking, why am I wasting 2 hours of my life when I know how this ends? That's my question tonight. And that's what we're all doing. It's like all of America is playing a mental game. It's like we are playing this mental psychops game. And you really want to just scream out loud, what are y'all doing? There is no path forward for Disloyal or Hibachi Haley, because she's a hibachi. She's a mixture of a bunch of stuff. And we're going to talk about that tonight. But the thing is, with Ron Disloyal, he's got the same disease that Bruce Jenner has. It's a mental disorder. Because Bruce Jenner thought he was a woman after all the money he spent on a boob job, after all the money he spent to grow his hair, whatever. After all of that money, do you know what Bruce Jenner thought? He thought he was a woman. And after all the money that Disloyal spent in Iowa, do you know what he thinks he is tonight? A winner. This is the disease that it's the degenerative disorder. That's what it is. It is the degenerative disorder. And Ron Disloyal has the disease. After visiting 99 counties, he went to every one of them, every single one of them in Iowa. He went to every little coffee shop. He did not win a single county, but he is a winner. The man that gave him the participation trophy had it right. He went to 99 counties and won none. And then he comes out on stage last night under this mysterious force of the universe, saying that everything tried to stop him. They threw everything but the kitchen sink at me, he said. Yet he alone was victorious. It's the degenerative disorder. And he's got it. He actually said that. He actually believes he is a winner. The Disloyal campaign put most of their resources into Iowa and got, are y'all ready? Knock, knock. Are you ready? Are you ready? I need a drum. I need to bring that drum from my church right here. That's what I'm missing on my show. Okay. So he spent almost all his money in Iowa. And do you know what he got for it? Dun, 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 23,000 votes. Professor Toto, if I would have spent $50 million in Iowa, I guarantee you I could have got 23,000 votes. Yes, my love. Oh, I'm getting a note here. Oh, Senator Ted Cruz just endorsed Donald Trump. Of course he did. Absolutely. Rubio, listen, I told y'all. Now, hey, y'all better tell them they got to get in the caboose of this Trump train, because me and you and I, whatever the proper words are, we are the VIP. Me and you. We were here first. We rode the train through the snow, through the sleigh, through the, not the hell, but the fire. We rode the train through the dust. We rode the train, me and you, we did it. High five. High five. I love you. Congratulations. You know what? Every one of you deserved last night. You deserve to feel the way you feel tonight. He got 23,000 votes and declared victory in the second place, proclaiming that his victory was a ticket out of Iowa. It sure is. The cognitive disconnect is exceptionally strong. But hey, everyone's got a role to play. His role is called Judas Disloyal Iscariot. And now Vivek is out. Asa is out. You know, a lot of you may not remember this, but I want to tell you something. In the 1970s or early 1980s, my memory's failing. I know he was president when I was very young. Ronald Reagan. I want to tell you guys something. Why I believe that one day Donald Trump will be as revered as Ronald Reagan. And here's why. Because Ronald Reagan is universally admired today. Pretty much Democrats, and pretty much he is the quintessential American president. He's revered. He won the Cold War without firing a shot. He jump-started an economic miracle that led to the greatest accumulation of wealth in American history. It was a joyful morning in America when he was president. But what you don't know, some of you do, you're old enough to remember. During his campaign, he was excoriated. He was hated. He was called a dunderhead, a mere actor who would involve the country in war. They said that he would bring the country into war. They said he had Neanderthal views, isolation, that he would set back the progressive cause by decades, whose economic illiteracy would bankrupt the country. It's very hard for me to recapture for you the contempt for Ronald Reagan during his campaign. He was excoriated by the best and the brightest of the conservative movement. It was visceral, widespread, as the animus against Donald Trump is today. And this is why Democrats should be very scared right now, because there is something eerily familiar with the Reagan-Carter campaign. I want you to pay attention to this. Carter, just like Joe Obama, was extremely unpopular, extremely. While Reagan, like Donald Trump, was considered unelectable. That's what it was said about Ronald Reagan. Now, what were the issues that made Carter so unpopular? One word: inflation. It was a thorn in Jimmy Carter's side. Much of it, just like has stuck Joe Biden since his first term, since the beginning of it. 2022's inflationary surge hit the highest levels since Jimmy Carter was in office. In foreign policy, under Jimmy Carter, what was going on? Iran and the hostage crisis. Hello, Hamas, Israel, Iran, hostage. America's standing in the world was depleted. But the problem is, now Donald Trump, before any reasonable-minded person, it's getting harder for Americans to argue, even the talking heads, that America was not safer and less chaotic under Trump than it is under Biden. It's possible Donald Trump could capture the blue state of New York and Vermont this time because of Biden's Carteresque unpopularity. The American image around the world of weakness is what Carter had. Polarization, division at home, the persistence of inflation. It makes this election very, very similar to 1980. And the pollster Frank Luntz, y'all all remember Frank with his focus groups. They asked him a few days ago, who do you bet is going to win in November? Here's what Luntz said, and Luntz is not a Trump fan. He said, I never dreamed that I would say this, but if I was having to bet, my money would be on Donald Trump. What man besides Trump can bring voters out with an Arctic blast, with them standing in that, whatever it was, 0 degree weather, and when not only his diehards, but Donald Trump literally won in every single demographic in the state of Iowa, every single one. Let's go over a few of them. Lower income areas, Trump, 60%. Higher income areas, Trump. Areas with fewer college graduates, 67. Areas with more college graduates, 38. Do you know how many what his number was last in 2016 with college graduates? It was 21%. Now it's 38. Trump won in every single demographic. I'm going to tell you tonight what I told you 3 years ago. Roar 24. The lion will roar in 24. I watched him walk on a stage last night. The lion will roar in 24. The polls for Donald Trump have fluctuated one time in the last 3 years. Once. You know when that was? I'll tell you. When they arrested him, then it shot through the roof because Haman's gallows that they hung for this man will soon hang them all. It was a strategy to scare voters away from Trump, to make him unelectable, to make him, in our minds, unelectable completely. And yet that is the very thing that has caused him to become the dominant force that he is. The real threat to Donald Trump was never Disloyal nor Haley, Hibachi Haley. Because she throws everything on the grill to see what'll stick. Hibachi Haley. It was never them or any other GOP dropout. Never, never, never. It was always the regime in Washington that is abusing its political power with lawfare. That is the true enemies of Donald Trump. New evidence has emerged that the only standard of justice in America now is the double standard. That's the only one in America right now, the double standard. Congratulations, President Trump. Congratulations. You didn't just have a win, sir. You had a massive win. And this is just the beginning. I wrote a song that says, the best is yet to come, God said. Oh, the best is yet to come, God said. I don't know what tomorrow holds, but this one thing I know, the best is yet to come, God said.
And the rest of his team, they have taken this very seriously.
President Trump's team that he has put together is truly world class. Let's not mince words, Sean. This is a thunderous victory tonight. History making, history shaking. We've seen a lot of stunning things over the last 8 years. Tonight is one of the most astonishing. But the man who deserves all the credit is the man who has for 3 years put up with the most relentless persecution, and for 4 years before that, one persecution, one witch hunt after another. DOJ and the Democrat prosecutors tried to kneecap this man before Iowa, and here he stands tonight, not just atop the field, but by a margin that no one can remember. This really is, Sean, an unprecedented event, and it shows how resilient, how determined, how committed, how strong this man is right now, Donald Trump.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, it's certainly a big night. It's going to be interesting to watch second place, but what that means.
Massive win. And that's exactly what it was, a massive win. And every one of you watching me tonight, it is time. I said it's party time. It is time for all of you to wipe your tears now. That's right. Baby, it's over. The battle, that part of it is over. A new one begins. I'm going to talk to you about that battle some tonight. But I want to encourage you. I want to show you something. For those of you that know what happened in 2020, and we all know, those of you that know what happened, if you ever get the feeling like, maybe you're just the weird one out, you got to watch this. It's going to blow your mind.
Went into caucus sites across the state. David Chalian is here with that. David, what are you seeing?
Well, Jake, we are sort of trying to take stock of what does this electorate look like in Iowa tonight? Now, these are early entrance poll results. These are people who arrived at the caucus site early. These numbers will change throughout the night as we do more interviews. But look at this. We asked folks, are you part of the MAGA movement? 53%, a majority of those that we've interviewed thus far say yes, they consider themselves part of the MAGA movement. 41% say no, they're not. We also asked folks, do you think Joe Biden legitimately won the 2020 election? 68%, more than two-thirds of those in these early entrance poll results showing up early to the caucus sites say no, he did not. Wrongly say no, he did not win legitimately in 2020. And then we asked, if Donald Trump is convicted of a crime, do you still think he's fit for the presidency? A similar result here. Nearly two-thirds of those who have showed up at the Republican caucuses tonight in Iowa, at least these early arrivers, tell us, yes, Donald Trump is still fit for the presidency, even if convicted of a crime. These numbers show a very Trump-aligned Republican electorate, Jake.
All right, David Chalian, thanks so much. Let's go to Anderson.
Dum, da, dum, dum, dum. Did you hear all the people that admitted on paper that the election was right? We know we're not dumb, and you couldn't make us dumb for 3 years. You tried, but when you know the truth, you know it. That's all that matters.
Political analyst Britt Hume. All right, Britt, you've seen a few of these. What's your gut reaction?
And look, I have a little pity. I was on that Mondale campaign as a correspondent for 9 months in 1984, so I remember it well.
God bless you.
But I would say about this race, based on what we now know, that Trump wins by a very large margin, maybe the largest ever, is that it shows the enduring appeal he has in the Republican Party. And that poll we call our voter analysis, had a lot of information in it about the number of people and how many of them want, a complete upheaval. And Trump is the man that they would like to have bring that about. But I would suggest something else that's worth thinking about, and that is a lot of this, I think, a lot of the strength of his appeal is based upon people's memories of how it was pre-COVID while he was president. They remember the economy and how it boomed. They remember the fact that we weren't in any wars or even indirectly funding wars overseas that they knew about. And they liked the conditions. They found them agreeable. Huge numbers. And they haven't forgotten that. And President Biden points continually to the fact that the job growth has been great lately, and it has, and that the economy is continuing to grow, and it certainly has. But the extent of the inflation that predominated for so long under Biden, has soured people's thinking about this economy, and it doesn't look like it's going to recover. So Trump, it looks like the guy that brought the goods home to them, and they haven't forgotten that. Life was much better for a great many millions of Americans, and that is reflected in the size of his win here tonight in Iowa.
And illegal immigration still seems to be front and center.
Very
and
big.
Iowa is the top issue,
Yes.
even ahead of the economy.
It's very big, and I think it's become, and it gets bigger all the time because the Biden administration simply refuses to take the kind of action that worked in the past and that Donald Trump is remembered for taking. In fact, he threw out everything that Donald Trump basically had done on immigration when he first took office, almost the first day, and people remember that as well. So let us not discount when we look at the reasons for this that it actually was Trump's record as president pre-COVID.
Let's talk about that. The three top issues. 3, immigration, economy, and foreign policy. Who owns those issues? Now, why is that important? Because last night we saw another president, Donald Trump, walk on stage being like real nice. Okay, and everybody's inboxing me. What's going on with Trump? Why is he being nice? Because he's smarter than most of us. He understands what time it is. He knows now that he's in charge. And now, what does he have to begin to do? Focus on his greatness rather than destroying his enemies. See, it's the next phase of the battle. It's the next phase of the battle. This is where Trump is. Trump now can become presidential and talk about what? Immigration. That's his subject. The economy. He has evidence Now, he don't just talk, baby. All he's got to do is remind you of gas 187. That's it. That's all he got to do. Show you the picture. He is electable because he's done it before. So, hey, get used to the little, sweetness and the niceness. Now, you're going to see the other side of Trump that everybody says is there, that he's a kind, loving man. Get ready to see that. There's one person that you must be aware of tonight. Okay, one person. Her name is Hibachi Haley and Tricky Nikki. Tricky Nikki, Hibachi Haley is the enemy. Watch what I'm about to show you. This is a video of a left, you can look at her and tell she's way left Democrat. Look who she's voting for.
I am heavily left.
Yeah.
I think that both sides could do better.
Yeah. Do you think democracy is in danger?
Oh, yeah.
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 Do you think New Hampshire is going to go for Donald Trump or Nikki Haley?
Hope Haley.
Yeah?
I hope Haley.
Would you consider Haley?
Yes.
You would?
Yeah.
Even though you're heavily liberal?
Yes.
Why?
Because I think both sides have had their fill of old white men. And it's time for younger, more new blood to come in that have broader scope and are willing to work with the other side. Because right now it's just toddlers screaming over their toys and wanting to go home and wanting to win.
So maybe give a woman a shot?
I know, funny.
If it's Haley versus Biden, who would you vote for?
Haley.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, mostly over his politics with Israel right now.
Huh.
Yeah.
Would her politics be much different?
I think that she's more willing to listen and negotiate than what Biden's doing right now. He's just throwing money.
So Biden might have some trouble in New Hampshire?
Yes.
Among Democrats?
Yes.
Wow. So I heard that over and over again, not just from Mariah there, but from other voters who said that they've been voting Democratic their whole lives. They've switched their party affiliation, voted Republican. They're going to in the primary next week. And they tell me that it's not just about next week. They do want somebody other than Joe Biden on the ticket. The state is also pretty offended that Joe Biden took away their first to vote status here and moved it to South Carolina. They're super angry about that here in this state. And they want to change. They want to see something else.
So a far left liberal voting for Haley instead of Biden. And do you know what? I've been on the phone with family members that are Democrat. And guess who they are voting for? You guessed it. Tricky Nikki Hibachi Haley. That is the dark horse in this race. Disloyal might be disloyal, but he is a conservative. But Tricky Nikki, you better spread the word. The Democrats are voting for Nikki Haley. Now, New Hampshire, that's what's next. Next week, we have another battle in New Hampshire. So I want to prepare you for it. I want to educate you tonight on the difference in a closed primary and an open primary. New Hampshire is an open primary state. I have a family member that lives in Mississippi. Mississippi is a red state, okay? What is Mississippi? There's no chance for Joe Biden to win in Mississippi. These people that I know that. So what are they all doing? They've told me they're switching to the Republican Party or independent to vote for Nikki Haley here in Mississippi. This is their game plan. This is their strategy, and to vote for her in the general election. Let me explain how open primaries work, just so maybe some of you don't quite understand what we're talking about. Basically, open primaries begs for spoiler voting from the other side. because people can vote in any party's primary regardless of their own party affiliation. So if you're a Democrat, you can go vote in the Republican primary. It's easy to game the system because what you do is y'all all go vote in the other primary on the least general electable candidate. Okay? That's what you do. All right? Of the other side. However, be careful because Republicans went and did that with Barack Obama and he wound up winning. Closed primaries are the total opposite. Only members of the party can vote in a closed primary. Whereas in New Hampshire, Democrats don't even have to change their party. They don't even have to, they can just come vote in that primary. Independents are perfectly able to join one of the major parties and register with it. Now, here's the problem with the open primary. I think it's a scam. They're horrible. I'll never know why you have open primaries, because while everyone has the right to vote, and absolutely you do, I don't think you have the right to decide which candidate a political party's going to run. In other words, you have the right in America to vote for the president, but these parties are private entities. You're not voting. It's not a direct vote. It is a party vote. So you don't have the right to decide who a party's going to choose for president. For example, if you was on a baseball team, okay, you would not want the input of people not on the team when it comes to choosing the pitcher. All right? So you got all these people that they've not come to one practice. They've not paid any dues to be on the baseball team. They've not had to buy uniforms. They've not had to get in the dirt and get dirty. Nothing. But they're able to join in who y'all are going to choose for a pitcher. A nominee, if you're going to say who the nominee is, you should have skin in the game. You should be willing to join the team. By registering as an independent, which is your right to do, you've made a conscious choice not to be involved in a party. Great. That's a good choice. It's a valid choice. But you shouldn't expect to have it both ways. If you're going to go independent, there's a price to it. You don't get to get involved with the parties. I mean, how do you get involved with the Boy Scouts if you're not a Boy Scout? That's what an open primary is. You can come and vote on the scoutmaster of the Boy Scout troops, even though you're not in the Boy Scouts. That's how dumb an open primary is. The point of a party, the reason you have parties is to create an ideology, the way you think about things, and protect and then promote that particular ideology. But you're missing the point of having a party in the first place if everybody can vote on who everybody else's party nominates because you don't have the same agenda. A party is a voluntary association of people who choose to become members or not. And once you're in, you have a say. Just by definition of what a party is, anybody participating in their nominating contest is not participating in an open election. Remember that. So if someone tells you, well, we should all have the right to vote, not on who the party is going to nominate. Once they nominate somebody, then you'll have an open election. You can vote in that as an independent, Republican, whatever you want to do. But it is wrong to choose independent. It's like a woman choosing to get divorced, or a man. You're going to leave the marriage and expect to come back and get, some little treats, every night. I mean, no, that ain't the way it works. That's, to me, Independent voters is a lot like that kind of a wife. You don't want to be involved in the party, and you don't want to push the ideology, but you want to control the nominee. At the end of the day, a political party is not even about winning an election. At the end of the day, a political party is to advance an ideology. And you have to protect that ideology, or there's no need to even have parties. Why would you join a group dedicated to something? So like let's make the government smaller. Okay, I'll join that group, right? And then you nominate a bunch of guys or girls who don't believe or not interested in that. Okay? So Nikki Haley is not interested in the things that our movement stands for. So why would we nominate her? What's some of the things our party stands for, our movement? That the Constitution is our guiding document. It's not breathing. It's not living. It is a solid document. Number 2, that we must enforce our borders. Number 3, male and female are binary choice, are 2 choices alone. Number 4, children should not be sexualized. Fetuses are human beings. Capitalism is the greatest force of history in the world. Energy independence makes America safer and stronger. There is no climate change. China is not our friend. Israel has a right to exist. Radical Islam is antithetical to American values. Those are a few things that's in our ideology. We have to nominate William F. Buckley, one of my heroes, came up with this formula. Someone said, who should we nominate? He said, the rightward most electable candidate. Not, you can't have one without the other. He didn't say, put forth the most electable candidate. And that's where Nikki Haley is gunning for. She's the most electable. She wins every poll against Biden above Trump. I'm the most electable. Great. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for the most rightward electable candidate. The one that believes in everything I just said, plus more. Once we find the most rightward electable candidate, then we have a candidate. And ladies and gentlemen, that is Donald Trump. Why? Because he's been elected before. He did it against all odds, and he will do it again. We've got to understand how this works. So that's open primaries versus closed primaries. When we get to New Hampshire, you're going to see a different story. Donald Trump will still win, but you're going to see all-out war against him in New Hampshire. Brace yourself. It's coming, and there's nothing you can do about it. But he will win. When I return in 30 seconds, I'm going to give you great news tonight. I'm going to show you tonight in my monologue the rule that is going to set Donald Trump free in the courts that he is about to face. I'll be right back.
Considered when you spend your money at these mega corporations where it's going? Are you aware that your hard-earned money is being used to support political corruption, which leads to poor federal leadership, hurting our economy, contributing to the overall detriment of our society? This is heavy stuff to think about, I know, but it's time we fought back. Introducing Professor Toto's The Patriots Buying Club. Here, we are a club that gives you the power to invest in companies that uphold patriotic and conservative values your family can respect. Rather than spending your money with these major corporations, we've partnered with a direct consumer company that offers over 400 high-quality, sustainable, and effective products that can be delivered fast directly to your front door. So many patriots across America has joined us in this walkaway movement. Now it's your turn. Go to www.buybywalmart.com to join Professor Toto's The Patriots Buying Club today.
When Justice John Roberts was being confirmed by the Senate, he made the following statement. He said, "It is my job to call balls and strikes, not to pitch or bat." He also said that the tie goes to the runner. What did he mean by that? He was referring to a rule. There is a rule that has been honored since Great Britain, and it's called the Rule of Lenity, Lenity. This rule will set Donald Trump free when he goes before the Supreme Court of the United States of America. Chief Justice John Roberts said, "It's not my job to call balls and strike." He said, "It's my job to call balls and strikes. That's it. Not to pitch or to bat." In other words, it is our job to apply the rule of lenity. I'll explain what the rule of lenity is. Basically, the tie goes to the runner. The rule of lenity, according to Cornell law, is a principle or of statutory construction that the Supreme Court has often invoked to resolve any ambiguity in a law or a statute or constitutional provision. Ambiguity simply means it's not clear. It is not specifically spelled out. I'll give you an example. You put a list of chores on the refrigerator for your children. And you put the list of the chores, and on one of the chores it says, take out the garbage. All right? So little Johnny goes, pulls the garbage bag out of the garbage can, marches it down to the road, sits it by the road, and he has taken out the garbage. You come home from work, the garbage is everywhere. The dogs have plundered it. You come in screaming at Johnny, and he said, "But Mom, I did the chore. It says take out the garbage, and that's what I did." And then the dad tells the mom, Did you tell him to put it in a garbage can? Did you ever teach him to do that? Did you make that clear to him? And if she says no and he says no, that's ambiguity. The law is not clear, and there is room for interpretation. All right, that is called the rule of lenity. The Supreme Court agreed to decide one of the most consequential questions in our history, whether Donald Trump is disqualified from running for president under Article 3 of the 14th Amendment on the grounds that he engaged in an insurrection. Now, the Supreme Court does not have to decide whether he engaged in an insurrection. This is going to be one simple decision. Does this statute apply to the president of the United States? That's all they have to deal with. Because if they answer that question, either way, then it automatically answers the other question. So here is what the law says. The statute, Section 3 says, senator or representative in Congress or elector of president and vice president who holds any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state, who having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States or as a member of any state legislature or an executive or judicial officer of any state to support the Constitution of the United States, have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof, cannot hold office again. All right. But the problem is this. The President of the United States of America is not an officer of the United States. And I did a whole class to prove that. I'm not going to do it here tonight. So now there's ambiguity in that law. Total ambiguity. It is open for interpretation. The next thing that's ambiguous is who enforces that. Congress, secretaries of state. It doesn't say. There's ambiguity there. There is an old principle in the law that says someone must know that it's wrong for them to be held liable for the wrong. Donald Trump had to know that he was causing an insurrection. And who's going to prove that? Because he knew in his mind that he wasn't. Go peacefully protest. The rule of lenity says that individuals should not be punished for their acts when the law fails to communicate to the public that such acts are forbidden. Donald Trump thought he was exercising free speech. The rule of lenity is intended to apply only to those instances where the court recognizes the existence of more than one interpretation, and where the decision that the court reaches harms or benefits the defendant to some greater degree. In that case, and I'm reading the law, in that case, if there's ambiguity, the rule requires the court to select the interpretation most beneficial to the defendant. If there's any ambiguity in the law, the Supreme Court's really going to have an easy job. They're going to be able to get off of it with the rule of lenity. They're going to be able to save face and not even make a decision. They're not going to decide whether Trump caused an insurrection. They're not going to decide whether Trump can be on the ballot. No, they're going to decide that the rule of lenity automatically rules in his favor. This rule is also known as the rule of strict construction. It arose in English common law for a purpose just like this. The rule that penal laws are to be construed strictly is perhaps not much less old than construction itself. It is founded on the tenderness of the law for the rights of the individual, and on the plain principle that the power of punishment is vested in the legislature, not in the judicial. So here's the problem. The judicial cannot punish people. They don't call pit or bat. They don't put people in the pit or up to bat. They call balls and strikes. In order for a referee to call balls and strikes, he's got to have a clear code to go by. If not, then they're going to let the runner, it goes to the runner. Okay? And many times whenever these umpires and referees get behind their little screen talking to one another, you know what they're saying? Well, it's not really clear. Well, then, hey, it goes to the runner. Why? We rule for the defendant when there is ambiguity in the rule or in the law or in the Constitution. You must rule for the defendant. It's the same way in Islamic law. Islamic law allows the imposition of punishments only in the absence of doubt or ambiguity. Are you going to tell me Islamic law is better than ours? You can punish unless there's any doubt or ambiguity. It's not clear. Jesus Christ, Yeshua the Messiah, he taught the very same thing. In Luke chapter 12, verse 48, what did he say? He that knoweth to do good and doesn't do it, he'll be punished. But to him that doesn't know to do good and does it, fewer stripes for him. That's the law of ambiguity. You didn't know. Donald John Trump believed that the election was stolen. He believed it in the recesses of his mind. He did not go there that day to cause an insurrection. He went there to cause us to peacefully protest. During oral arguments in 2016, in the case Lockhart versus the United States, Justice Antonin Scalia said these words, and I quote, "What I worry about is the rule of lenity." He said, you have these dueling laws, and you have a rule that when the government sends somebody to jail for 10 years, it has to cross sharp corners. It has to dot every I and cross every T. It has to be clear. That's the words of Justice Anthony Scalia. What is ambiguity? And the 14th Amendment is what is an officer of the United States? It is not clear. Another insurrection is not clear who can enforce it. These things are not clear. And therefore, the Supreme Court will have to turn to the rule of lenity. It has often done that. Justice Neil Gorsuch said recently, and I quote, "From our founding, courts in this country have construed ambiguities in penal law against the government and with lenity towards the affected person. Here we promise our court favors individual liberty, not prosecutors, prison time, or penal fines." That is the rule of lenity. That is the rule that will rescue Donald Trump from these baseless charges of lawfare. I want you to think about one more thing tonight before I go. I want you to think about lawfare. You will agree with me that the greatest weapon against Donald Trump right now is lawfare. Attacking him with the law. Where does everything in the law wind up eventually? What is the upper echelon of law? Where does all matters that cannot be solved eventually go to? The Supreme Court of the United States of America. Now, if lawfare is the gallows that the left has created to destroy Donald Trump, how interesting is it to you that just before the end of Donald Trump's presidential term, miraculously, Ginsburg dies, unexpected. Miraculously, 3 Supreme Court justices, unheard of in the first term, are positioned at the top of the gallows that the enemy will build for Donald Trump. How interested is it that before the end of his term, he is allowed to build the very court that will try him? I'm reminded of the scripture It says, rejoice not against me, O mine enemies. When I fall, I shall arise. When I sit in darkness, Yahweh will be a light unto me. Think about it. The very gallows, lawfare, will wind up being it will go to the very house that Trump built. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining me.
If tomorrow all the things were gone I worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife, I'd thank my lucky stars to be living here today.
'Cause this flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away.
Proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land.
God bless the USA.
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea.
From Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA,
where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the
I'm not doing an afterglow tonight, but I did real quickly want to announce a few things. Our church, this is our Super Sabbath weekend, and we're having regional meetings all over the United States. So maybe you might live in a few of these areas and you would like to attend one of our Sabbath worship services. I'll show you where they're going to be. We would love to have you. Jacksonville, Florida. That's right, this Friday night and Saturday, 7 o'clock Friday night and 11 o'clock Saturday morning, all weekend. We'll be having Sabbath services. You are welcome to come in Jacksonville, Florida, Fairfield Inn, 561 Chaffee Point Boulevard in Jacksonville, Florida. They will be in one of the meeting rooms there. We would love to have you there. And then over in Mount Carmel, Tennessee, which is right by Johnson City, Tennessee, it will be Saturday at 11 o'clock a.m. There will be food and fellowship and the teaching of the Word of God. You do not want to miss it. We have one in Texas, but that one is a private meeting for members only of our church. But there is one more right here. Here we go. This is going to be in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, this Saturday at 11 o'clock. Wow. So all of these new congregations we are planting across the nation, and we would love for you to come. So if you live within a 2-hour drive, you ought to just get in your vehicle and come be with us at any of those meetings. One more time, Jacksonville, Florida, get a screenshot real quick and show up Friday night or Saturday morning. There'll be intimate gatherings. I'll be teaching and would love to have you at any of these places. Jacksonville, Florida, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, at the Courtyard Marriott. Our elders there is Jamie and Kristen Peachy. They will be hosting that event. Our elders in Jacksonville, Florida is Alan and Justina Morgan. They will be hosting that event. Our elders in Mount Carmel, Tennessee is elders Alvin and Heidi Beal. That's going to be a wonderful event, all three of those. Now, the one in Texas is not open for visitors. It is a private members only event. But why don't you come? And if you live anywhere near Waveland, Mississippi, we have service Friday night at 6 o'clock, Saturday morning at 11, lunch at 1, question and answers at 2. And then Sunday, we're all going bowling together. You can go with us. Why don't you come? Come on. I would love to meet you, throw my arms around you, get to know you, and come hear the word of God with us. All right? Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for being in class with us. Have a great evening. Oh, hold on. Before I go, this morning, I woke up in a very unusual situation. I don't normally cry. I'm not much of a crier. I've had a rough life, and I've I've learned not to cry very much. But this morning, I woke up missing my dear grandmother that passed away this year. She and I were like this. She was my spiritual mother as well as my grandmother. And I just woke up weirdly missing her insanely. And as I laid there and the thoughts of her just kept going through my mind, precious memories. I wanted to get out of the bed, so I'd quit thinking about it. But the memories were so precious. Anyway, finally I jumped up and, running through the house trying to get my mind on all my duties today. I've been at the studio preaching all day, recording Bible lessons. And I got home this evening and there was something in my mail from one of our followers. Her name is Rosalind Devasti. Not only is she a follower of Toto, but she's a member of my church, I believe over in Texas, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, she sent me a gift in the mail. And it was a journal. She makes these journals and you open them up and write inside of them. But I want to show you the front cover. Totally unexpected. I never asked her to do this. She never told me she was doing it. But on the front cover is my beautiful grandmother and all of the qualities of my grandmother, Sister Lois Gatlin Terrell: holiness, anointing, love for truth, miracles, songwriting, faithfulness, truth to her word, honesty and integrity, separation from the world, faith for miracles, the narrow way, cleansing from sin, determined to serve the Lord, and the mantle of Lois Gatlin Terrell, which I believe I picked that mantle up when she died. But to get that in the mail today when I was so homesick for her. And so I just want to thank you, Rosalind. That was such a blessing to my life today. It meant that's priceless to me. More than all the money in the world, just to get a reminder of her mantle and the qualities that she had that I want to have. So Rosalind, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But that's not the only ones that Rosalind makes. She sent me this one of Donald Trump triumphantly returning, undeniably my president, TRUMP. Look, triumphantly returning, undeniably my president, Trump. You better, Rosalind, you better copyright that because I can see it coming already. I love that. And she sells these. I don't know where. I'll try to get y'all a link. Rosalind, if you're watching, if you want to get on Facebook real quick and inbox me a link, I'll be happy to share the link. If you want. And then she did this one, which is my church. She said, First Harvest Ministries, where the message of truth flows through the roof. And then look, she puts all of the titles of some sermons that we preach. Yahweh, Yahshua, joy comes in the morning. Yah's the Savior of all men. Mount Zion, ruling and reign, tracking the tribes. The coming kingdom of Yahweh, goodbye guilt. That's just, so touching. And then, born to rule. She'll make anything you want her to make. Oh, and then she made my wife these beautiful ones here. Woman of Yahweh, beautiful, victorious, Karen, always loved, never alone. I love this one. And then another one for my wife, call to me and I will answer, Karen. So, Rosalind, I can sell a bunch of these for you, darling, if you'll send me a link. Oh, and she did a Trump one for my wife in pink. And born to rule. I love that. Let me see if she may not be watching tonight. Or if she is, I would sure love to get a link, Rosalind, and get people to ordering these from you. It was so kind of you to send those to me. I'm forever grateful. I love the little things that people do. I don't see anything from her yet. So anyway, well, if I get something, I'll sure share it with you guys so y'all can order that. Very, very sweet. If you don't have your Toto coin, this is pure silver, 0.999 fine silver, collectible coin, Professor Toto on there. And if you want to know how to get that, there is the QR code right there. Get your Toto coin. All right. So grab one of those. Anything else that I need to mention tonight? Let me look at the chat, see if there's anything I'm forgetting. Thank you, Teresa Geschwinder, Rhonda Rodriguez, Frank Custe, Diana Howard, Cecilia. That's very kind, Cecilia. Thank you. Diana said, is the info on the inside? Let's find out. No, I don't see anything. Boy, these are wonderful. I think Rhonda Rodriguez is trying to get a hold of her right now. Thank you, Cindy Grove. Thank you. Hello, Cheyenne. I'm praying for you. I know you've had a rough day today. Her car went out. She's a single mother. Can't get to work without a car. But that's okay. Our church is renting her a car for 2 weeks till she can get one so she don't miss work. She's got a child to raise. And so praying for you, Cheyenne. Lord, I didn't realize rental cars had become so expensive. $900 for 2 weeks. They used to be $150 a week. That was before Bidenomics, of course. Let's see. Cecilia, I'm trying to get you a link, darling. Oh, Deborah Betts, thank you. What a sweet thing to say. I love you, Sister Deborah. I want to ask all of you something. Have you ever been to one of our Bible studies? Okay, if you haven't, you need to. There's the Bible study link right there every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock Central. Except for this Saturday, it'll be 11 o'clock. It's our Super Sabbath weekend. But you really, really should join us for Bible study. Hundreds of you do. And they're life-changing. They're mind-changing. It may make everybody in the church get mad at you if you come, but oh well. Oh well, oh well, oh well. Let's see if we've heard anything from her. You're so welcome, darling. Thank you, Doreen Anaquich. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, Cheyenne has 2 children that she's taken care of. Thank you, Diana Carter. Good show tonight. Thank you. Ange Garachi, I believe you're correct. I believe you are correct. Oh, wait a minute. Linda Andreas, she's having a Super Sabbath meeting February the 20th, next month in Illinois. Now, I don't have all that information yet, but when we get it, we'll share it here on the show for everybody. Anybody that lives in Chicago, any of that area, get to Elder Linda Andreas' Super Sabbath meeting, and you will be so glad you did. Let's see. Thank you, Elder Linda Andreas. All right. Well, we're not getting a response from Rosalind. I do apologize. Let me look on my Facebook one more time to see if she's responded. No. Okay. Well, we'll get it to you guys next time. But I was so thankful. Y'all, please let her know how thankful I was. So very, very thankful. Oh, by the way, I just got back from the studio and I made a 30-minute sermon that I think everyone should watch. It's easy to watch. I'm not screaming and hollering like I do when I'm preaching. Some of my good Baptist folks can't handle that, my good Catholic friends. And so I became Baptist for y'all today. Yes, I did. But anyway, go and if you could and watch it. I believe you'll be blessed. It's on fhtv.tv. I'll show you how to get there real quick. Go to fhtv.tv. You'll see a screen that looks like this. And of course, there we are live right there. You can always watch us live on FHTV if you ever lose us, okay? But anyway, this sermon is called From the Beast to the Least. From the Beast to the Least. And it's about the purpose of your life. What is the reason for your existence, the purpose of your life? So I think you will enjoy that sermon. That's one your pastor won't get mad at you for watching. There's no doctrine in it. It's just sweetness. Don't get used to it. Hello, Wilbur Coward. How are you tonight? Oh, Cookie Wolsey is in Chicago. So Elder Andreas, grab Cookie and get her to Bible study. Cookie, email me, Cookie, and I'll get you connected with Elder Andreas. My email is brothervaughn@gmail.com. Oh, hey, we have a link. We have a link. Thank you, Lisa Schumer. Lisa Schumer has saved the day. We have a link for these beautiful journals. You know what, guys? Since she was so good to me, why don't all of you just go surprise her tonight? 100 of you. Go right there. I'll tell you what, let me put this in a QR code if I can. Oh, let's see. I'll try. Give me a second, everybody, and let me try to get you a QR code here. Nope, that's not going to work. I'll try something else. There we go. Nope, it's not going to let me copy that. I tell you what, inbox that to me, Lisa, on my Facebook, please. That inbox me that link on my Facebook, if you will, real quick. Thank you. And I'll copy and paste it from there and create a QR code. We're just hanging out, guys. The show is over. Now we're just hanging out. Come on, Lisa Schumer. There you go. Thank you, Lisa. Copy. And let's paste that real quick. There's the link. And this is going to be for custom journals, is what we'll call them. I don't know if they're already pre-made or you can order what you want, but here comes your QR code. Dum, da, dum, 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 right there. Yes, my love.
She sent me that too, which just shows her heart.
Oh, okay. Yes. What is, she sent this little tray. You're awesome on it. Sweetheart, sweetheart, sweet, sweet lady. Y'all go support her right now. 100 of you. Would you go right now, click on the code and just go see what she's got to offer. And when you do, tell her thank you for thinking about my grandmother. That meant the world to me. She won my heart. Now with that, I'll tell you. Love my Nana. We called her Nana. Karen, you want to sing for them? Karen, you want to sing for everybody right now? You want to come sing for everybody? She said, yeah, I guess. My throat's gone too. No, you don't want to do it? Okay. Our throats are all messed up. You're welcome, Elizabeth. I'm going to say Apia or Apaya. You're welcome, Connie E. That's right, Frank Couste. I reckon we did get an afterglow, didn't we? I reckon we did. Okay, what is the address of the church service? In Pennsylvania. I'll get it right now, darling. It is 1931 Hospitality Drive, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. That's the Courtyard Marriott. So when you go in, you would just ask the front desk where First Harvest Ministries is having their worship service. And we would love to have you. You can come Saturday at 11 o'clock and meet all the wonderful saints there that are members of our church. And I'll be teaching that morning. It's just going to be wonderful. Thank you, Sister Brody. Lisa Schumer, we tricked you into glowing. Yes, you did. Thank you, Lindsay Cheney. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Brother Shane Sparks, thank you. Uh-oh. They're saying it doesn't go to her page. Oh, well. Oh. Kenneth Huff, you got your first Toto silver coin. Thank you. Karen, they saying, please sing. Thank you, Stacy Honader. Aren't you proud? I got it. It was Ho-Hinder for how long? I love it. I'll help you sing something if you want to sing something. Oh, it doesn't go to Jade's Journal. I'm so sorry. Lisa, does that link not work for you? Let me click on it.
I looked on her Facebook page. She has no links on there.
Oh, it did not go to her page. Oh, well. It goes to someone else named Ophelia. Uh-oh. I'm advertising for somebody else. Ruh-roh. Okay, well, scratch that. So sorry, guys. We sure tried. Oh, that's interesting. All right, Karen, come here. Sing. Let's sing something. Come on. What can we sing? Come on.
I don't know.
Let's sing. I'm depending on you. No, that's too hard. Okay. Something easy. Okay.
You're gonna make it.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
It's too late. They're trying to go to sleep.
No,
they ain't trying to make it.
I know, but you always do that when it's time to go to sleep. You sing like that at this time of night or at midnight.
You're gonna make it. No, I gotta go down lower. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You're gonna make it. That's it. You're gonna make it. You've got what it takes to win. And I know that you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it. Just as long as you and Jesus, Yeshua, stay friends. One more time. You're gonna make it. You're gonna make it. You've got what it takes to win. And I know that you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it. As long as you and Jesus stay friends. We knew better than to sing tonight, but we tried. We both got throats that are gone, but you are going to make it. I promise you. You are going to make it. Good night, everybody. May Yahweh bless you and keep you.